Blah, blah, blah. What's up, y'all? It's Marcellus Wiley, that dude. Let's talk about that Shannon Sharpe SA case. But first, y'all like, what happened to Wiley? I'm on the road. By the time you guys see this, I'll be at the crib in Washington, D.C. Went to the White House to have the Easter egg hunt, Easter egg roll on the White House lawn. So the family and I were out there. Had an amazing trip. It was beautiful. 40,000 plus people out there all doing some Easter egg hunting. It was crazy. Enjoyed ourselves. So now let's get into this case right now, because I am uniquely qualified to talk about this, and y'all know why, right? Been through this before, going through this. No, the feds didn't get me right now. Just about to get some information out there because I see a lot of misinformation and just want to provide some clarity. So one, let's talk about how this all came about. So Tony Busby is the lawyer for the plaintiff. In this situation, it was a Jane Doe, but we'll discuss that later. So Tony Busby, being a disgraced lawyer in the court of public opinion, a lot of people are like, oh man, it's the dude that tried to fraudulently take down Jay-Z is now getting sued. He's also the guy that was able to have all of those allegations against Deshaun Watson. And that's the first thing that you got to witness in this case, the named defendant. So Shannon Sharpe is the only named defendant in this case. Deshaun Watson was the only named defendant in his cases. Jay-Z was not the only named defendant, as that was a part of the Diddy case, etc., right? So unsuccessful when there's multiple defendants, successful with Deshaun Watson. Yeah, he pulled him down, right? He got after Deshaun Watson. How did he do it? Because it's a dog whistle. So one Jane Doe turns to two Jane Does, turns to four Jane Does, turns to eight Jane Does, etc. That's what happened with Deshaun Watson. Being real, I think part of the strategy for Tony Busby in this case is that happens with Shannon Sharpe. Okay, so his name being slandered or his name not being held in the highest honor, Tony Busby, doesn't really matter. And not in the court system, because one, most cases don't even go to trial. They get settled, right? And there's two ways to settle it. One, that nobody knows that you settled it, but you did. Or two, we all know you settled it because there was a case, and what happened to that case? It just went away. So let's talk about that. In this situation, Shannon Sharpe, either A, was given a demand letter between January and when this case was actually filed, so mid-April. There's a demand letter. Hey, Shannon Sharpe, $50 million or I'm gonna tell the world and file this case. And Shannon Sharpe, either A, received that letter, said, tell the world. Or B, he never received that letter because they wanted to go to the world first. But the point of this is a lot of misinformation saying, oh, Shannon Sharpe was up for $100 million podcast deal once this deal is over at the volume, and now you're gonna file this. Well, this was in the works privately weeks ago. I would say months ago. But this did not just happen overnight because of a podcast deal. So get that out of there in the comments and as headlines. No, they either approached Shannon Sharpe between January was the last incident, so she could have came to a lawyer then, or it happened weeks after, days after, but it didn't happen a couple of days ago. So let's get that out of there. Now, from there, this is a civil case, not a criminal case. You're like me. I'm like, why? If something really happened to you, why is this not a criminal case, right? Why would you take money over justice? Well, in these situations, it's easier to prove in a civil case than it is in a criminal case, right? If you've ever followed any of those allegations and essays through a criminal case, it's very difficult because it becomes a he say, she say story. The same thing is here in a civil case, except to burden of proof, to actually get that out, to get the conviction, if it even goes to trial, is a lot easier. So most of these things are actually settled. Most of these things are mediated through a court mediator. Now, this dog whistle that is going out to all these other Jane Does is really what this is about. That's where the legs are. So if you're Shannon Sharpe, here's some things that have to concern you. One, you have something on record in 2010, the case, SA case, the threats, a restraining order against Shannon Sharpe from a young lady when he was working at CBS. Just put that in the back of your head, because that could be used to change the winds of how we look at this situation in the court of public opinion. And remember, when you're talking about a civil case with someone who's high profile, and we're going to be a part of this conversation louder than you think, because they're trying to use as leverage Shannon Sharpe's reputation and the hit that he's already taken and the one he will continue to take the longer this plays out. But Shannon Sharpe is interesting. He had a different defense than the typical. He had a defense that is closer to what my defense was. He had a defense closer to what Jay-Z's defense was. He even went more gangster than probably both of us. He told us her name. He said, she's not hiding behind Jane Doe. We're gonna call her Gabriella Zuniga. That's her real name. Now that's gangster. Now, under the advice of your lawyer, you putting it out there, and everyone's like, why are you doing that? That's foolish. You know, that's against the law, or whatever it may be. Let me tell you why he did it. Because privately, she's trying to hope that she can shame him into a place where he would settle that $50 million. You don't want all this out, Shannon Sharpe. You don't want everybody to know all your dirty little secrets. You're a public figure. You're making all this money. Let this just go away. Why don't you just pay for this to go away? You don't want everybody to know how crazy you are, how psycho you are, how nasty you are, etc. Whatever it may be. She's just going to keep going or making it up. And Shannon, from the gate, has let her know, and her defense team, Tony Busby, hey, I don't care. I will put these tweets out, these texts out. He already has put out some information about her. You could go to his Twitter and see it, where he's saying, look, this is how she came at me. Which means, oh, you can tell the world how I came at you, because I ain't got nothing to hide, because I'm showing what you did. And that's going to be an interesting tug of war, because now, how are you going to play it and shame somebody who ain't ashamed? That's going to be interesting. He broke the fourth wall. And the fourth wall is us. It's the crowd. It's his fan base. It's all that comes with his celebrity that they wanted to use against him. He's now trying to use for him. And that's going to be interesting. The plaintiff's greatest ammo just got returned fire when he did that. Now I'm going to do a deeper detailed hydration situation video on this, just because I want to see the actual lawsuit in front of me while I talk to you guys like we do it on the show, right? Use their words against them. But in summation, this situation, you can't get into the details of, oh, that doesn't sound, it doesn't sound on the surface, it doesn't sound plausible. The multiple essays, that means it happened, and then you never went to the authorities, and then you go back to the same situation, it happens again. That doesn't make you most credible witness. So Jane Doe or Gabriella Zuniga, you got a lot of explaining to do. But here's the summation. She's not going to have to explain much. This situation, because it's tied to just Shannon Sharpe, all of this will land on Shannon Sharpe alone, like I said in the beginning. Nobody else. Shannon Sharpe's going to have to come to a place where how much good money do you throw after a bad situation? And that's why most of these cases settle. You saw the Fox case come out in January, and whatever happened privately, did they send a demand letter before? Did they try to settle that before the world knew? The world found out, and now they're trying to settle it. So following this one, it could be the same situation. Shannon's fighting, she's obviously put it out there, and then you can hear all of a sudden they potentially are selling. Because if you go to court, not only are you risking that you still have to pay, but there's no risk in terms of what we gonna find out. It is known. It ain't a risk. It is guaranteed through depositions, subpoenas, etc. We're gonna find out way too much information, and that's not what Shannon Sharpe wants ultimately. And frankly, I don't think this plaintiff wants that either, because they're both gonna come out looking bad. But in the pursuit of her winning her case and getting her a big paycheck, she may go through that. She'll go through it. Shannon got a lot more money in front of him. Does he want to spend some of that towards this? Or does he want to spend some of this towards this and have his reputation sullied? He's already been stained in the court of public opinion we're never going to look at him the same as no one looks at Jay-Z exactly the same. You don't believe me? Go through the comments. There's always a few people like, there's smoke, there's fire. I knew it. Even though overwhelmingly, most people look at the Jay-Z case like, come on, y'all. They look at Shannon's case like, come on, y'all. They look at my case like, come on, y'all. But I'm gonna tell y'all where y'all going. In this situation, you're gonna go through a lot of hell to get to where you wanna go. So beat it up in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. I think Shannon, sooner or later, will settle this case. What a dollar amount? Don't ask me, dog. There's been cases that walk in 50 million, they walk out, you only get 50,000. It could get to that situation, but as y'all know, this is one of the games that are played out there. We'll see how real it is and how fake it is. All right, y'all, enjoy. We're gonna break this down at the crib next time. Bye, bye, bye.